right, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to Kenneth R. Gill Stadium on the campus of McDaniel College. Pat Stetzer from CMSportsNet, joined by Grady Breen. We're back together again. We did some lacrosse games back in the spring, and Grady with me here to do some Carroll County High School football, the first week of county play, week 3 of the 2025, yeah, easy for me to say, 2025 fall season. We got Century and Westminster just underway. Grady, thanks for joining me, and I'm looking forward to this as much as you are.
Yeah, Pat, it's going to be absolutely awesome. Great to be back here, especially here at McDaniel. We're in quite the press box.
We sure are.
Here on the hill, as they say.
Yes. We got Century and Westminster, both teams 1-1. I think there was a timeout call. Actually, it looked like maybe an injury on Century's side, so a timeout, and we'll sort it out. But Century won the toss and accepted to get the opening kickoff, and it was a touchback by Trevor Wallace. We've run one play so far for no gain. It was DeLon Barnes on a handoff around the right side, and he was stopped for no gain. So 2nd and 10 for the Century Knights. And Jake Dexter, the quarterback, back to throw. Receiver fell down, so it'll be incomplete pass, 3rd and long coming up for the Knights. And we were talking before we came on air, Grade, just about Carroll County football, and I know you keep an eye on it as much as you can. You coach over at Concordia Prep, but you were associated with South Carroll for a while there, and it's a. You mentioned how cool it was to see sort of the Century program turn around as quickly as it did last year in 1 year. So we're looking to build off that.
Yeah, for sure. They had a little bit of streak that they're quickly forgetting, which I love to see. Despite my inability to beat Century in the lacrosse field, it's a tribute to Coach Ferguson, their kids, because they not only broke the streak, they really flipped the streak. So I'm encouraged to see what they're able to do. I think they've kind of carved themselves out an identity here, but Westminster's always going to be Westminster, right? And
no doubt.
And that's the great thing. 3rd down, excuse me.
Yeah, run up the middle by Barnes, I believe, DeLon Barnes, and that didn't get much. So the first series is going to be what looks to be a punt for Century. But Coach Dave Ferguson said, and we talked to him for our season previews before this season began. They had 3 goals, chief goals at the start of last year. A winning regular season, host the home playoff game, and I'm trying to think of the third one's escaped me, but they achieved all 3, and so that was a big success. I know that didn't end well. Ooh, bad snap, and the ball is on the ground. There's a flag down, too. So that was bad news there for Century. Desmond Henson is the punter, number 14. The snap, he couldn't field it. He had to retreat to the end zone to get it. He got back out to the 20, but there is a flag down, so hold on.
It's going to be real interesting to see the call. Yeah,
decline. I thought if Westminster had been offside, they would have had to replay the down. This is going to be very good field position for the Owls offense as Rory O'Connor comes out onto the field. And as much as we talked about Century in that first drive, we got a chance to talk about the Owls, and they are the reigning Carroll County champions. And you mentioned it's always tough to play against this Westminster program, and Coach Chris Bowser has just done a great job for the last 7-8 years building these guys and keeping these guys as the team to beat in Carroll County.
For sure, and going back to that last play, Pat, like that kind of tough bang play for the punter with a snap over his head, but we'll see if Westminster can take advantage of the short field. Rory O'Connor's definitely one of the most polished players in the county, so
no doubt.
I'm encouraged to see how he leads this offense.
First play was a run. It's going to be carried by number 20, Nick Comfer, who had a huge game last week in Westminster's 25-24 win over Urbana. That game was played at Parker Field. We're playing tonight at McDaniel because still no light poles at Westminster. We've talked about that for a little bit. They were deemed unsafe right before the start of the season, so they had to come down at Ruby Field. So no lights right now, but they're in the process of getting them back up. So hopefully within a few weeks' time, Owls fans will be able to have a home game at night at Ruby Field. There's a RPO. That was a little bit of a rough connection there between Xavier Howard and Rory O'Connor. So it'll be 3rd and long now, too. So 2 nice plays by Century's defense.
Yeah, just a little high there from O'Connor. I like this read. Could be a nice little play, but unfortunately just a little too high. Now facing a 3rd down with this short field. Again, definitely 4-down territory.
Yeah, you'd think, although they do have a really good kicker in Trevor Wallace, but I think you want to strike early, trying to get a touchdown on the board. And when you're this close, you basically started in the red zone. So 3rd, and we'll call it 9 from the 17-yard line. Low snap, which they did a lot of last week. Pressure on O'Connor. Flag is down. O'Connor's going to connect on the pass. It's going to be a first down, but I believe this might be coming back.
Braden Troop with a reception there for Westminster.
Indeed it was Braden Troop, but hold on. And it's coming back. I think there was some holding going on Century. Good pressure by Century on that play to force O'Connor out of the pocket. And yes, it will come back. So Dave Ferguson will gladly take that back 10 yards. So I was mentioning Trevor Wallace, their kicker. He booted a 46-yard field goal last week late in that game to give them their 1-point lead, which eventually was the difference in Urbana's in Westminster win over Urbana 25-24. So he's got plenty of leg. He's hit on 3 field goals this year so far as Trevor Wallace. But now we're looking at a 3rd and 20 back at the 28-yard line. So 2-down territory remains to be seen here.
2-down territory is now suddenly a question mark, Pat. Not as much as your playbook meant for 3rd and 28. So we'll see what Coach Basler cooks up here.
Pressure again. O'Connor comes to the near side. He's rolling, and he's going to have to just run it out of bounds. So he did get some of the yards back, but not much. Really only a gain of about 3 or 4 yards. So let's see if they send Wallace out to attempt a field goal, and they will.
Boy, Century's defense really should feel good with themselves right now. Short field, early in the game. You know, no matter who's playing, there's going to be a lot of nerves. So for them to breathe deep and take 4 potential points off the board, and barring this kick, maybe they get out with still a 0-0 game. So
yep. Looks like Century called a timeout. Maybe Coach Ferguson didn't like the look of the defense there on 4th down. A field goal unit, block unit. So 9:22 to go in the opening quarter. No score here at Gill Stadium, the campus of McDaniel College. And you mentioned it, Grady. It's a great night. A little humid earlier today, and a little bit of a rain shower came through, rainstorm, and it cooled down a little bit. But I mean, it's always a great a treat, if you will, to kind of be on campus and see the old buildings, and the sky is opened up for parted for us a little bit here, so it's not rain clouds. It's a nice night on the hill, and not usually high school football here, but it is cool to see a high school football game at Gill Stadium.
Absolutely, and light posts aside, I wouldn't hate for the county to put a couple more games here, just to increase the connection. Oh, low kick by Wallace, and Century escapes.
Indeed.
With 0-0.
Yep.
Westminster's, hopefully that's not coming back to bite them later in this game, Pat. But that was a failed opportunity.
Absolutely, yeah. You started on the opposition's 20-yard line. Now the ball went past the line of scrimmage, so in high school it basically is a touchback, so the Century will start again at the 20. But yeah, dodged a bullet there. The Owls came out 1st and 10 from Century's 20 and only managed to go about. Actually, they went backwards when it comes to the hold, and a 40-yard attempt for Trevor Wallace never really materialized. So Century comes back out on offense, and we'll see Jake Dexter, who leads the county in touchdown passes with 4 so far through 2 games. Of course, this is the first week of Carroll County play, and everyone's played non-county games so far. There's some pressure up the middle, tried to get it down the middle. Incomplete pass.
Looked like a little bit of a shift so far in this second drive for Century, Pat. First drive, they definitely came out trying to establish the run with some heavier personnel, really trying to get downhill. The second drive starting off in spread look 3-by-1. So it's going to be interesting to see how these two offenses feel each other out.
Incomplete pass down the middle intended for Quentin Duncan, who is the number 2 receiver for Century. So Duncan and Koenig so far, a pretty good tandem for Jake Dexter through 2 weeks. The Knights beat South Hagerstown in week 1 and lost at Marriage Ridge last week at home. A little jet sweep. Some positive yards there, but that might be coming back. There's a flag in the backfield. That is Will Koenig right there. So trying to get the ball in the hands of the playmakers. But we'll see what happens here. And it's coming back and hold. So some early miscues here on both sides of the ball, or both teams, I should say, with their offenses. Some holds on both sides. Going to push Century back to the 10-yard line. Otherwise, that was not a bad design play. A little pass on. I think I saw Baker Mayfield do that a couple times on Monday Night Football this last week. Josh Allen does the same for the Buffalo Bills. And a lot of teams like just get the ball in your playmakers' hands, whether it's a little shovel pass like that or jet sweeps, whatever you can do.
Dexter back. Oh, nice completion.
Well, was it or wasn't it? Let's see.
Wait a minute.
They're going to call him
down.
Tough play, but that's going to be a catch.
Ethan Ashburn with a tough reception over the middle.
Jace Thomas, number 14, appeared to get the interception. At least he thought so, but I think once Ashburn's down on the ground, as long as the ball is secured, it's a catch. And that is enough for a first down. It's a 20-yard gain.
You know, so far, Pat, if we've watched each play, each D-line is definitely going to get after it. So I think if the trend continues, quarterbacks are going to have hands in their face for most of this game. Dexter did a really good job staring down the barrel of the gun there.
He sure did. This is Barnes again, nowhere to go, and they even lost a yard. So Westminster's defense is stout up front. And Grady and I were talking before we put the headsets on, and he asked me about players to watch, and Isaiah Taylor, number 7, is certainly one for Westminster. Double-digit sacks last year. He's off to a good start this year. They play him at tight end a little bit too, but his bread and butter is on that defensive end side, the rush linebacker, or whatever you want to call him. Just go get the quarterback, and he does a good job. He's on the right side of the defense right now. It's the 2nd and 11. Dexter in the shotgun. He's got Barnes on his left hip. And try to get it to Barnes. Ooh, dangerous. Trying to set up a screen pass. Barrett Tozer, number 44 for Westminster, right there. That's almost intercepted, but incomplete pass. Going to be 3rd and long.
Nice little play design there, Pat. Especially a good 2nd down call. Just unfortunately couldn't get it into the hands of his running back, but definitely something you're going to want to call with a defensive line that's playing as aggressively as Westminster is tonight so far.
Saw both quarterbacks that we saw. You mentioned that on the last drive for Westminster, O'Connor had Xavier Howard out in the flat, just missed him a little bit. There again, missed him a little bit. It's not. I don't know if it's necessarily nerves, but it's just trying to get yourself settled, right? Get this first quarter, the half of the first quarter, anyway, under your belt. Take a deep breath. Like you said, that defensive pressure is going to be in the quarterback's heads. 3rd and long, again, shotgun pass down the middle. No, what a catch.
Great.
I was going to say he almost could not get it to Quentin Duncan, but he does get it to Duncan up to midfield. So a nice throw and catch for Century, and that'll move the chains.
Not many guys with the length and the kind of vertical reach as Quentin Duncan. Pat, we saw him do such great things this spring. I'm sure he's going to have a huge spring as well back on the lacrosse field, but a great play over the middle. Dexter seemed to, been able to target that area of the field. Westminster's coming out in this too high safety look, so it's definitely a priority for Century's game plan.
24-yard catch for Duncan. And who says those lacrosse players can't play some football too, right? Another high pass caught. Oh, and it's going to get away. It's going to be a touchdown for Century. I don't know if they over pursued, but that is number 10, Ethan Ashburn. 47-yard touchdown in the Century Knights. Strike first. Nice play.
All of a sudden, I think everybody in the stadium's breathing a little differently, right? First couple of drives, we had the bad snap. All of a sudden, we're a little uptight. Kind of one missed tackle. Safety came down there with a bad angle, and Ashburn made him pay. So good on Century, but Westminster's going to have to make sure they kind of buttoned up on the back end of things.
And Ashburn, look, he had his back to the end zone, catches it, turns and pivots, and he was gone. So I think Westminster sort of pursued the ball, and no one to back him up, and that's a 47-yard touchdown pass. Extra point. Koenig is the kicker. The kick is good. And so 6:54 remaining in the opening quarter, and Century has 7. There is a flag back at the 20-yard line.
I assume it's probably going to be a warning for both.
It's unsportsmanlike on Westminster.
Okay.
So Chris Basler will quickly huddle up the Owls and let them know this is not the way they had planned on starting this game. You can see him on the sideline right now from where our vantage point is in the press box at Gill Stadium.
Must have been some verbal extracurriculars after that PAT.
And this is the kind of thing you encourage the coaching staff, right? It's early in this game.
Yep.
That's not the way we wanted to start this game, and we definitely don't want a 15-yard personal foul to boot. So let's get our heads back in the game plan.
Yeah, and that thing, especially being assessed on the then kickoff, you're kind of guaranteeing a touchback now unless Century squibs it.
Sure.
Things that add up and or could allow a team to kind of stretch something that you don't ever want to be stretched.
Dexter 4 for 7 in this game so far with 91 yards in the touchdown pass. They've carried it 4 times for -3 yards. So far, the air game has been Century's success on these first 2 drives.
Yeah, 4 for 7 and probably 3 for the last 4, 3 for the last 5. So good on Dexter for kind of settling in. No matter who you are, no matter where you play, you're always going to feel a little different on that first drive. So for him to settle in and get after it.
Sure. And he got close to 60-some yards on those last 2 throws alone. The 24-yarder to get into Westminster territory, and then a 47-yarder for the touchdown. And so Koenig kicks off in Owls territory and, of course, drills it into the end zone. So it will be 1st and 10 for the Owls at their own 20. 6:54 left in the first quarter. And I'll take a second to tell you that big things are coming to Carroll County Sports. Coming soon at CMSportsNet Plus. It'll be the home for high school game coverage. We're building a whole new way to experience all the action, and we're just getting started. We'll add more sports from more locations. When we're done, our subscribers will have all the access they want for local sports coverage. It'll be your team, your game, and your network. Stay tuned for more information on CMSportsNet Plus. O'Connor back to pass on 1st and 10, and airmails his receiver. Incomplete, that's Troop again. So that's been a little bit of Westminster's bugaboo through the first 2 weeks. They had that 12-10 loss against Franklin in week 1. They played that one at Winters Mill High School. Last week they beat Urbana, but I've yet to see, and again, it's been two games and 2 series, so there's plenty of football left. I've yet to see O'Connor really connect with his receivers. And then, of course, he'll reel off 5 or 6 in a row, and it'll make me look like a fool. But that's what Westminster wants, a little more consistency out of their throwing game.
Yeah, and it's such a kind of maddening dynamic at times when you're faced that as a coach and a staff and a player, first and foremost. I've personally seen O'Connor at camps. He's quite the talent, but any player can have stretches where you're just like, hey, let's kind of tighten it up.
Yeah.
Quarterbacking is pitching, but the batter's running at you. So.
Last play was a run play, gained 4 yards, so 3rd and 6 coming up here. And it's not like quarterbacks, it's more frustrating, right? When they're not threading needles, they have guys open and they're just overthrowing them. So, yeah, things to be shoring up for sure. Here's 3rd and 6. There's a nice throw and catch. That's a first down. Braden Troop, he's going for more yards after the catch. Braden Troop is into Century territory. He's out past the 30 or down past the 30, all the way down to the 20. So that was some yak there from Braden Troop, who had the first down with the catch, and he turned it into a huge play for the Owls.
Great catch and run. I also really liked how the Owls receivers were so intent about flipping their heads, finding the nearest Century DB. That's how that play really went so explosive, blocking after the catch. Great play by O'Connor.
All the way down to the 19-yard line of Century. 57-yard play will certainly flip the field, and that was 3rd and 6, so a big play early in this game. 1st and 10 for the Owls at the Century 19. Low snap, O'Connor back to get it, and he will run this broken play and lose some yards. A flag flies.
Yeah, first down bad snaps look like it's kind of bit Westminster in the butt a couple times now.
Yeah, it was interesting. Last week I just did the audio of the play-by-play rather of Westminster Urbana, and didn't notice it as in the first half as much, but the second half, almost every snap, O'Connor was going down to his ankles. This is not what you want. Not what you want when you're trying to run an offense, especially in that game when they were coming from behind and had to rally to win. Flag on that play there after O'Connor lost yards. They're going to move Westminster back even forward. Yeah, even further, I should say. Legal block in the back. So the Owls going in the wrong direction. The last 2 times they've been down here, for the first, of course, the first one was a short field. But now they are back to the 29-yard line, so the 10-yard penalty on first down makes it 1st and 20. Little things, right? The high passes, the low snaps, you gotta tighten those things up.
Yeah, we've had some explosive plays in this first quarter. We've had some bad snaps in this first quarter. So
roll out. Yep.
Nice little check down from O'Connor to
Barrett Tozer, 44.
Barrett Tozer, another name that we called a little bit in this lacrosse season.
Sure did. And that gets the penalty yards back and then some, so it'll be a 2nd and 9, so a pickup of 11. Tozer just a sophomore, and we were noticing a good bit of sophomores on Coach Bazler's roster. Tozer's one of about 10, so maybe even more. So it's a good mix of youth and leadership there for sure.
Especially for that type of team to be around, a team that as you were mentioning in the pre-show, something like 17 returning seniors. It's like, hey, this is how we're going to do it. This is who we are. This is what it is expected to you as an Owl football player.
Sure. It was the starters that they were really salivating over. They had double-digit starters back from last year's county championship team. O'Connor's pressured.
Nice little dipsy-do in the background.
Oh, almost a great catch. He had Century's defender on some skates there. Not to poke fun, but Keon Hops, 84, is going to. Well, I take that back. Is that right? 84. I have to run over there. But anyway,
no, I believe it was 84.
Yeah, but it wasn't Keon. That's not Keon Hops. My mistake. But anyway, whoever it is out there had needed some help there because he was out on an island trying to go against O'Connor. But the result of the whole thing is an incomplete pass. So it was 3rd and 9. It was good pressure from Century's defense.
And a really important 3rd down here for the Owls, Pat, especially with missing that early field goal off the short field. Owls don't want to go twice into the Knights' red zone and come away without points.
Yeah, no doubt. 3rd and 17-yard and 3rd and 8. Looks like about 9, but 3rd and long here. O'Connor looking. Pressure that time. Here's the throw into the end zone, and he is uncovered. It's a touchdown. O'Connor bought his time, rolling towards Century's sideline. And the touchdown is caught in the far end. We'll take a second here to see who it is.
Great play there by Rory O'Connor, Pat. Moves to his right, but also stay really patient.
Helped the receiver, helped him along too, right?
Exactly.
Gave him a sideline to throw to. No Century defender. And so now the Owls are a PAT away from tying this game with Xavier Howard on the touchdown pass.
Both quarterbacks really showing their veteran presence.
No doubt.
Number of starts is something that you can't take away from quarterbacks, or you really can't give quarterbacks, right? There's no magical practice to give quarterbacks more starts.
Right. You got to get out there and do it, and both these guys have. They were essential to both their team's success last year, be it Century and Westminster. Yes, sir. 4 minutes exactly left in the opening quarter, and we have a tie score, 7-7. Century and Westminster here on the CMSportsNet. It's not the full game of the week, but we'll call it the game of the week for all intents and purposes here at Kenneth Gill Stadium on the campus of McDaniel College. And the lights are on, the sun is down. Feels like the Friday Night Lights in a big-time venue. It's cool to be here. Pat Stetzer and Grady Breen with you here.
Not going to lie, Pat, I wouldn't hate calling it a little offensive shootout with how those offenses settled in.
Yeah. Well, you're an offensive guy.
That's fair.
You want those points. You want those points. You never know how it's going to go, right?
No.
Especially with high school football. Wallace will kick off again. Launch it into the end zone. No return here.
Ashburn back deep for the Knights.
Got a couple touchbacks, 3 now. Centuries in the short field, but Westminster 2 touchbacks for Wallace. And the Knights will again begin at their own 20. Westminster and Liberty play each other next week. The game's supposed to be at Liberty, but Liberty is the other school dealing with the light poles. So as of right now, on the schedule, it's at Liberty, but it also, birdies have told me it could also be back here. It's next Thursday, September 25th. But right now, again, as of the Carroll County Athletic League schedule, it's at Liberty High School. That's the next time Westminster plays. But right now, we have a tie score here between the Owls of Westminster and the Knights of Century. And Jake Dexter is back out to run the offense. 1st and 10 from his own 20. Back to pass. Over the middle, incomplete. He was trying to get it to Koenig, but a lot of coverage there by Koenig.
Looked like Jace Thomas for Westminster was really trying to make a play on the ball. That definitely
got close.
Yeah,
he got close.
Just high enough there that
did not be intercepted, right? So 2nd down and 10 now. Coach Chris Bassler calling the defensive plays from the sideline. He's got some talented guys on defense. Gabe Lee, one of the top tacklers. In fact, he led the county last year in tackles. He's back at it again this year, number 5 in the middle of that Westminster defense. We mentioned Isaiah Taylor, part of that line. Here's a throw-in, incomplete. Try to get it to Koenig again. A little short, and I think Koenig may have slipped on the turf. Incomplete pass. And the other part of this is that both these teams get the luxury of playing on the artificial surface, which is not something they do during the season in county anyway, inside Carroll County. But one day that might change. But for right now,
one day I heard a rumor that it might be soon.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll hold you to it. It's only been 20 years or so, but hey,
yeah,
I think who's counting?
I think this rumor is legit. I don't know.
All right, good to hear that. 3rd and long from the 20. Pressure now up top, trying to get it to Koenig, guarded by Howard. Incomplete, and a 3-and-out. Westminster defense holds. That time, they tried to get all of it and then some down the Westminster sideline, but incomplete. A good job by Xavier Howard, number 4 for Westminster, to guard the top receiver in Carroll County.
Yeah, a good example, Pat, of what happens when you're not able to get real positive, early in the drive. You're really trying to get something going on 3rd down. Defensive line is just kind of pinning their ears back and getting after you. It creates for some real potential fireworks, but that ball just dropped it incomplete. And unfortunately, Century has to punt. Another flag, though.
The punt is a decent one. It's going to stop right around midfield, actually just inside the 50. But hold on, we've got that's on Century. Let's see if Coach Bowser makes them re-kick. I mean, it would be a pretty good start to the field position for the Owls. Let's see here. Coach Bowser coming out to listen to the officials. And they kind of back them up. I think I just saw the motion of back. Let's back them up and try it again. Might as well give them another chance to make a play. Special teams unit. So they'll re-kick, and it's Xavier Howard on the far side. Jacob Devilbus, number 19 on the near side, going to receive this punt, and Century will have to back up and re-kick. So it'll be 4th and long now again. 4th and 15. Back at the 15-yard line.
Yeah, Pat, I feel for Century's special teams coordinator. Special teams coordinator stress is always paramount, especially in these situations. You see a flag go up so quickly on a 4th down that was long enough, right?
Yeah,
definitely.
5 more yards. Another kick by Ashburn. This one takes a Century bounce. Well, that's the dice you roll, right? That's the dice you roll. And a good job by Century. Downs it all the way back at the 32-yard line. So nice kick by Ashburn.
Seemed like Westminster there was not at all expecting something to bounce past them. Playing things a little bit more flat-footed, perfectly understandable in that situation. But a couple Century bounces, and all of a sudden, maybe they're regretting that accepting the penalty. But such is football.
So the Owls offense back on the field, but instead of being up close to the 50, they're backed up to their own 32 after that nice punt by Ashburn of Century. Here's a handoff to Nick Comfer. Spins off the first round of tackles. Pretty good run on 1st down for Nick Comfer, the reigning CMSportsNet Athlete of the Week. And he picks up about 6-7 yards, so a good start to this drive for the Owls.
Probably the best run from either team so far tonight, Pat. Definitely, an important thing to be able to get downhill, and especially 1st down drives. Start your drive with some positive yards without having to, put your quarterback in risk or save his decisions for later in the drive.
Yeah, the snap was cleaner, and they got good push on 1st down. So 2nd, and we'll call it 5 from the 37. This designed run up the middle. O'Connor breaks away. He heads down the sideline. 1st down and more. Nice run, Rory O'Connor, all the way to midfield. So a pickup of 13 moves the chains, and first 2 real successful runs on either side tonight right there before the Westminster Owls.
Great job by Westminster, kind of adding a hat in the run game. You've got that running back, not a ball carrier, but up leading, blocking for his number 1 starting quarterback, Rory O'Connor, to really even things up for Westminster. And all of a sudden, that drive feels a little different than previously.
No doubt about that. So now you're back to where the original punt basically landed, and you've got a fresh set of downs. 1st and 10, right from the 50, as the Owls head toward the soccer portion, the stadium side of the field, not the scoreboard side, and flags fly. I'm bad with directions. Let's see. That would be the west side. Going west?
Yes, believe so. Believe so. If you're wrong, I'm wrong as
well, away from downtown. Let's put it that way. Downtown would be to the east, I believe. False start backs him up 5 yards. I usually try to say the scoreboard side or the non-scoreboard side. We can say the hill side, maybe.
Yep.
The hill side of Gill Stadium. Good crowd here tonight, too. Not only one side of the bleachers for everyone to sit in, but the students came out tonight and showed out for Westminster. They usually do. Century brought a small but raucous side of their own, and it's a pretty packed side of Gill Stadium. Good to see. All right, handoff goes to Nick Comfer, and he gets most of the penalty yards back. Got about 4 yards on 1st and 15. Again, Comfer, again, I mentioned this. If I didn't mention this yet, I did to you. Westminster still without Jack Hitchcock, who led the county in rushing last year. So it's been a next man up mentality for Westminster. They've also down with Case and Doan is hurt. So the top 2 rushers from a year ago have not seen a lot of the field. Hitchcock at all. Doan may have played in week 1 a little bit, but next man up. So Nick Comfer, who had played some back, but usually plays receiver, switched into both roles last week and had 200-plus yards of offense and scored a 95-yard screen pass for a touchdown. It was a big deal. Here's some pressure now. O'Connor is stretched out, throws in a double coverage, incomplete.
Yeah, next man up, Pat, is one of those things where every program can say it, right? It costs nothing for me to kind of chant it in a locker room. It's another thing for a program to be able to execute it. And guys like Comfort show what kind of depth Bassler has at Westminster. So more power to him, and more power to getting those guys ready and having guys that buy into multiple roles and say, hey, what do you need me to do, coach? Because not every program's blessed with guys who can do that or guys who do that.
Give credit to that last pressure, number 11, Angelo Rossi of Century. So a good job by Rossi. It's 3rd and long. O'Connor over the middle. It's intercepted. Ashburn. He has the touchdown. Now he has a pick. And he gets it back to midfield. No, I'm sorry.
Desmond Henson.
My mistake. Desmond Henson, number 14.
Looked like some kind of miscommunication from the Westminster receivers there. Looked like 2 guys were going in the same zone, and that allowed the Century safety and DB to play a little bit higher than I'm sure O'Connor would like. The ball goes a little bit high, as we talked about earlier. Goes a little bit high, and Henson makes a great play.
He does. Number 14, Desmond Henson, Jr., 5'11", 175 pounds. Nice job there by that young man to spot the ball, spy the ball, and like you said, O'Connor moved up to throw, and then when he did, he might have just had a little bit too much juice on it, and the Knights had the takeaway. So, and here's Delon Barnes, a nice run by Barnes on 1st down. Gets it up down near the 40-yard line, so they're into Westminster territory with 1 run, and now the offenses are starting to kick in a little bit more.
Now guys are getting to assignments. Defensive lines aren't pinning their ears back as much. They aren't really able to. They're also a little worn down after just about a quarter of play. So
1 quarter in the books.
Interesting to definitely see Century kind of get downhill there. I know that was much more their identity last year. So if they're able to establish more of that, they're going to take up more of this clock. And I think whoever is able to control the ground game more, it's going to bode really well. And that's not rocket science to really state as a commentator here.
Yeah, but it's important, right?
Yes, for sure.
1 quarter in the books. Century 7, Westminster 7. The Knights on the move as we will begin quarter 2. It'll be 2nd down and about 3 to go. So it was a good run there on 1st down. And I mentioned I got my guys mixed up. That was number 10 earlier, Ethan Ashburn, with that long touchdown. And that last play on defense, number 14, Desmond Henson. So Coach Breen right there to get me straight, and it'll be a 2nd and short, so it's a lot more plays in your playbook, your resume, whatever you want to call it, on 2nd and 3. as opposed to what we saw in most of the first half, or most of the first quarter. 2nd and 9, 3rd and 12. You're limited there, right? 2nd and 3, you got a lot of chances here to make something happen.
For sure.
Get the first down.
And hopefully we can see a clean drive at a Century. I don't think so far through one quarter play, Pat, we've seen a drive without any laundry on the field.
Correct.
And that's definitely kind of changed the dynamics of some play call. Oh,
yeah,
here we go. Another.
Barnes still going. DeLon Barnes all the way down to the 30-yard line. So.
Would not be denied.
Yeah.
Kind of really took some shots, but definitely just kind of ripped through some arm tackles. And
yards after carry there for probably actually down to the spot the ball to 29. So pickup of about 13 yards on 2nd and 3. Hey, there's a lot of plays in the book with 2nd and 3. You can also just run it up the gut and let your playmakers make plays. And DeLon Barnes, one of the playmakers on last year's Century team that had a winning. Oh, I just remember what the third thing was. So it was a winning record. They wanted the Freedom Belt Trophy back from Liberty, which they did in Week 9. And they got that, and then they had the home playoff game. So those are the 3 things that Coach Ferguson wanted to have happen. All 3 things happened. Dexter will pitch it to Barnes. There's a flag. That play took a long time to develop, and that's in the neighborhood of holding. Oh, there's another one flying from the head referee. We'll see if that might have been a little extracurricular or not, but it was a toss out to Barnes. I think just let that play go a little too long, and some jerseys were being tugged on there by Century. So we'll see here in a minute. We'll sort it out. And you jinxed it when you said a nice clean drive was in the books there in the offing, and there's laundry in the field yet again.
So far, not the first jinx, but hopefully the last. But we'll see. Looked like some kind of miscommunication there from the Century offense, just by the way that offense was acting. Looked like. Yep. Some assignments were a little confused there, even just by the way Dexter was reacting there.
So they're marking this off for the hold, but there was also a personal foul in Westminster, so they're probably offset, I would think. We're going to sort this out here, but the ball is at the. It should.
The old
dead ball there after the hold. I mean, you'd know they're going to mark this off.
One step forward, one step backwards, 2 steps forward with the unsportsmanlike.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Century's going to have a first and less than 10 basically here. So back to the 29-yard line again. So first and about 5.
Yeah, an unfortunate situation right there for Westminster.
Yeah, no doubt.
Their second unsportsmanlike penalty.
That's true.
Both definitely after.
Not the way they drew that up.
No.
Snap over Dexter's head right into the hands of number 9, Dawson Jersey Puga, and he gets just a yard or 2 lost, but it could have been a lot worse.
Could have been a lot worse. Not only for him to catch it, but not only for it to go over Dexter's head, but for him to catch it, because there are situations where that kind of ricochets off his pads, and before you know it, it's pinballing back towards Westminster.
Or Jersey Puga's running his route, and he goes off to the side. It just happened to go right over Dexter's head into Jersey Puga's hands. So 2nd and, let's call it 7, back to the 26-yard line. Dexter gets the snap, and they're going for it all, and it's underthrown, intercepted. Marion Warfield, and he gets away from Quentin Duncan. Warfield takes a shot. That's an interception. There's a flag that comes in on the interception return. I think this will hold up as a turnover. Marion Warfield, junior defensive back.
Yeah, just the little, a little too underthrown there from Dexter.
Had the advantage on the size.
Had the advantage. Guys like Quentin Duncan, there's not going to be many DBs taller than them. Thrown a little bit to the inside, and in that situation, Pat, you really want your quarterback to, let that ball out and let Duncan able to run underneath it.
Right. Give Warfield some credit too. He basically had contact with Duncan down about the 10-yard line and got it up to the. Past the 30 now, the block in the back pushes it back some, but a nice return
for sure
from Warfield. So 1st and 10 now, Westminster. Ball is at the 24-yard line.
So we've had touchdowns, we've had interceptions go back and forth.
Yes, we have.
So now we'll see who can make kind of the next move here, Pat.
It's going to be a handoff to Nick Comfer, who gets it up close to the 30 before he's pushed back by Century's defensive front. Actually, they're going to spot him right around the 29-yard line. So let's see if it's the 28. Nope, up to the 29. Jacob Delius, one of the top defenders on Century, is in there to make that stop, but it'll be a good pickup there again on first down, be 2nd and 5. Comfer starting to get a little bit of ground game going. 5 carries, 20 yards so far for the senior, who gets it again. That time he's met close to the line to gain. Pushed back a little bit there. Might be a 3rd and short here coming up.
Westminster's really been able to establish a lot more push in these past 2 plays, Pat. Just able to get a lot more movement out of that Century D-line, making things easier for Comfort here.
Christian Prince there, 62 for Century in on that tackle. He's right in the middle of that line there. So the 3rd and short. We'll see what the Owls and Knights have here on 3rd and 1 from the 33-yard line. Under 9 minutes to go in the 2nd quarter. Gives to Tozer. He's got the first down. Barrels his way up past the 40-yard line. Nice run by the sophomore, number 44, Barrett Tozer, and that moves the chains.
Good job on Tozer there. Getting his pad level low, getting over the ball. Definitely making his target smaller and able to barrel forward for a first down here for the Owls.
1st and 10, Westminster up the 41-yard line. And the ground game starting to make some headway here against Century's front.
First quarter, we saw the ball flying all over things. Definitely kind of slows the quarter down. Both teams kind of want to slow some things down, establish the run game.
And here's a throw that's off the mark. O'Connor trying to get it to number 80, Ryan Lavender, one of those sophomores we mentioned. Actually, it is 10. 10 sophomores listed on Coach Basler's roster. So that pass out flat near the sideline was incomplete, so he's 2nd down and 10. Getting 10th graders into the mix is, as you probably know from coaching lacrosse and coaching football, obviously you got to be on the. If you're on the roster, you've got some skill and you've made the varsity team. Now, how do you integrate yourself in? And that can be a tough thing sometimes. But with 10 of them, you're going to have some depth. Here's a handoff to Confer around the left side. Plenty of room to go. Turn the Jets on like he did last week. Into Century territory goes Nick Confer. Big run, big gain, and the Owls flip the field.
Impressive run there for Comfort, Pat. This O-line is really coming off the ball. It's always a staple of any Basler team for a really physical O-line up front. But he was able to kind of be on the linebackers before anyone really touched him. So nice carry there for the young man.
Pickup of about 25 yards almost. So he's up to 50 or 49 yards rather on 7 carries. So getting 7 yards a carry here is Nick Comfer. And big reason why the Owls are in Century territory. 1st and 10 from the 34. Another give to Comfer. Right up the middle, Nick Comfer. Into the secondary of Century. Close to a first down. If not, did get it. I think he got about 10. We'll see. Yep, can move the chains. So 10 more yards for the senior, number 20, Nick Comfer. He was busy last week with 100-plus yards rushing, 100-plus yards receiving, and he also had 6 tackles on defense.
A busy night for the young man.
Yes, indeed. And we visited with him this week as our athlete of the week, and he just, like I said a minute ago, he talked about it. Like, it's just, I know I've been a running back, and when I knew our guys were down, it's next man up. So I did what the coach wanted me to do, and he definitely helped the Owls get that 1-point win, thrilling win. Another low snap. This time O'Connor gets it, breaks free, bowls over a defensive back. The tackle was made by Tyler Dale, but Rory O'Connor picks up 10-plus more yards. Another first down, and Owls on the doorstep here now.
And that's a really just a momentum kind of, extrapolator here. Really take it up a notch for your quarterback to take a bad snap off the turf, pick it up, make a play, and then run right out of safety, showing how physical number 1 can be. So nice play there by Rory.
1st and 10 from the 14. Owls already close to 100 yards rushing on the ground after it seemed like they were struggling with that in the beginning. They were. Rory goes off the left side, keeps it, picks up a couple yards on first down. So down inside the gold zone, if you will, now inside the 20. Ball's at the 10, so a gain of 4. Oh, actually, maybe the ball spotted the 11, so picked up a 3, 2nd and 7, with 6:15 to go. And this time-consuming drive here for the Owls has been a good one so far. And let's see if Century called that timeout. Well, let's see. Nope, it was the Owls. The Owls called I believe it's their first one. I'll get a chance to do this again. Let's see if I can get it all in this time. Because Grady, big things are coming to Carroll County Sports, coming soon at CMSportsNet Plus, the home for high school game coverage. We're building a new way to experience all the action in every stadium, in every gym, live and on demand. We're just getting started, and with each week we'll add more sports from more locations. When we're done, our subscribers will have access to local sports coverage live and on demand right at their fingertips. So very soon, CMSportsNet Plus will be the home for Carroll County sports coverage. Stay tuned for the subscription details as we get closer, and get ready to be part of the network built for you. Don't miss a minute of the action. It's your team, your game, and your network. That's called CMSportsNet Plus.
Exciting stuff, Pat.
I think so, yeah. We're going to be integrating our stadium and gym cameras with Huddle, and we're going to be live streaming games. It's a work in progress right now, but we're doing our best to get it to you as soon as possible. We'll have subscription plans for you and information along the way. We'll be the place to stream Carroll County High School sports. Another run. Confer gets away from one tackle and makes something positive out of that. Should have been a loss there. I'll give credit to 55. Uchenna Iziogo had a chance there to bring Confer down, but Confer stayed on his feet. And it's a positive yards on second down. It'll be 3rd and about 4.
Great job just kind of getting his pads forward, falling forward, pushing his legs. Those are the kind of things that are so great as an offensive coach and so frustrating as a defensive coach.
Yeah, you give Iziogo credit for getting his hands on Confer, but he just couldn't bring him down. And Confer stayed up, like you said, and thrust forward for a few yards. Make something out of nothing.
Yeah, so far this is really the most complete drive we've seen. Starting off with that interception, but not just a play, not just a series of explosive plays.
That was Tozer, I believe, and that's enough for a first down, so it'll be a 1st and goal. Number's a little tough to see, but I think it was Tozer, and it's 1st and goal now at the 1. That was O'Connor kept that? Okay, yeah, O'Connor kept it, my bad. 1st and goal from the 1. Oh, and the ball gets away. O'Connor tries to fall, and he does. That is not what you wanted, and Century gets a break. Alexander Gonzalez, number 4, was also a race to the ball, and that's a huge loss on 1st and goal. So that'll be 2nd and goal way back at the 19-yard line, the 18-yard loss. And the snaps have been an issue. They've been an issue last week, and they've been an issue tonight.
And Pat, the crazier detail is that I believe, I could definitely be mistaken, but I believe that every bad snap for Westminster has happened on a 1st down.
You keeping track?
Well, yeah, it started early, but all of a sudden, you're getting positive yards, and kind of the excitement of the new 1st down gets to their center, and before you know it, you're talking about 2nd goal from the 19 rather than 2nd goal from, say the 4. Yeah,
O'Connor's done a good job to corral those snaps. He was doing it last week pretty much every time in the second half. This one, he just couldn't get it. And, of course, on the turf, it's not slick grass tonight. It's turf. So the ball's going to skip and roll, and it rolled all the way back almost to the 20. And O'Connor did a good job to turn tail and get to the ball because Gonzalez was pursuing it just as much as O'Connor was. That would have been a huge takeaway for Century. But even so, the Knights have pushed the Owls back to almost the 20-yard line, 2nd and goal from the 19. Oh, on the plus side, you can say there's room to throw here.
For sure.
On 2nd and goal from about the 20. Although you'd like to have a 2nd and goal at the 1. or already be in the end zone if you're Westminster. So 4.5 to go, 4:32. Each team with a timeout left. I think Century called that most recent timeout here. So O'Connor in the shotgun. Tozer will get the handoff. Break one tackle, but not the next. Taken down and celebrating there. Number 15, that's Jake Odelius, I believe. Yep, the senior, 5'10", 185 pounds. Coming up from the middle. And Odelius is one of the top defenders in Carroll County. And a nice job there to keep Tozer from getting any more yards.
Real pivotal third down here, Pat. Century's going to want to try to get off the field, save potentially 4 points.
O'Connor looks to throw. Ball batted up in the air. Incomplete. There was a flag. And that was Iziogo again. So nice job by that young man. And I think if you're Century, this is a hold. Let's see here. You got to back them up, don't you?
For sure.
Yeah. Oh, nope. Well, not for
Okay.
sure. They declined it.
What do I know?
I would have tried to, you're in that weird spot. You don't want to give another down, maybe. You're in field goal range. You're probably in field goal range no matter what with Wallace, although the last time he tried a 40-yarder never really materialized, right? So I think I'd have pushed him back, but Coach Ferguson declined it, and it's 4th down and 18.
Bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush, and with that being said, the 4th down is better than the 3rd down you don't.
It's true. So this will be a shorter attempt here this time. It was a 40-yarder. This is the ball spotted at the 18, so back them up to the 24, so a 34-yard field goal try here. Good spot. Low kick, flag comes, kick is good. Kick is good, but flag came from the back, from the Century side of the field. Let's see what this is. Wallace's field goal was good. They're marching this ball. Field goal is good. Okay. Yeah, I thought they were going to turn the ball around and try to give the Century the ball. I didn't even see what the call was for, but either way, the field goal is good.
Wasn't able to see it either, Pat, but surprised to see so much laundry so far in special teams play.
Yeah.
We've had some offsides on punts. We've had some bad snaps on punts. We've had all sorts of different things.
Yep.
So.
Yep. But the field goal is true for Wallace, his 4th of the year, and that gives the Owls a 10-7 lead with 3:45 remaining in the first half. So the senior 1 for 2 in his field goal tries tonight. Had the 40-yarder. I was looking down when that kick was going up. Did it get just as a low kick, the first one, the 40-yarder?
Yeah.
Did it tipped it
no,
off?
it looked. If there was a soccer goal, it would be a great shot, but it just low and slow. Not low and slow, but really low and hard.
Yeah, low and not high enough.
Yes.
That one still low, but obviously enough to split the uprights. And Wallace gives his team a 3-point lead. And he will kick off now. See if he has a third touchback in him. This one's going to be a little shorter.
Oh.
Touch, though. It's obviously a live ball now, and this might be bad news for Century, and it is.
Oh, another.
Ethan Ashburn tried to come up and make a play, but it's going to be down inside the 10-yard line by the time Westminster special teams unit came down. So good job that time by the kick coverage team. Not so good from Ashburn and Century, but the Knights have it. 1st and 10 when the offense hits the field. Now, is there a flag there on the far side?
Looked like there was a penalty on the far side, Pat.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's another holding penalty, and that's really the last thing you want. Looks like they're walking it off half the distance of the goal.
Yeah. So blocking it back, it looked like
yep.
Yeah. So, but either way, half the distance. So now you're from going from the shadow of your own end zone to being in your own end zone for the most part on offense. And this could be a turning point. This kind of a situation. We'll see who has the advantage here in the next couple plays, but not the best spot to be in if you're Century's offense.
Not at all, and also to know that they're kicking off to start this second half, it is definitely going to be in their minds of the program. So they want to make sure they can get out of the situation and not then punt the ball back to Westminster or worse.
1st and 10 from the 3. Dexter.
Great play.
What a play. That is a great play. That is all the way from the shadow of your own end zone. That's just what Westminster did last week against Urbana. Dawson, Jersey, Puga just waits, comes out of the backfield. Dexter pitches it over the defense, and there is a lot of green to run. for Century, and that's how you turn the field. Great job by the Knights.
Yeah, Century was definitely expecting blitz there. Westminster looked like they were probably playing some man coverage, and to put the back out of the backfield is a great little play call against any sort of blitz coverage. So for Dexter to face the barrel of the gun like that and just kind of drop it off to his running back shows his poise there. So great play by Century to get out of a tough situation.
How about a 41-yard pass play on 1st and 10 from your own 3? And here's a handoff Barnes, but it met right at the line of scrimmage. Nice job by Westminster. There's Taylor getting up from the pile. I think Gabe Lee, number 5, was in there as well. So he lost a yard, did Barnes. And Westminster says, I see your 41-yard pass play, and I'll give you a 1-yard tackle for loss against Century's offense. So these two county rivals sort of taking shots at each other, and pretty good half here so far. Again, a little bit, like you said, some penalties marred some of those drives and a couple inconsistent throws, but teams have settled in a little bit here in this most of the second quarter. 2nd and 11, clock running, 2:45 to go.
Oh, great completion out there to Will Koenig.
Sure was. I don't know if that was even intended for Koenig, but Koenig, he made the catch. That gets into Owls territory. Nice job by Will. Down and all the way down to the 41-yard line of Westminster. So the Knights on the move. Sometimes just that nice lofted ball over the top of the defenders will get the job done. They don't all have to be lasers, right?
No.
Looks like a laser in the book. I don't think Coach Ferguson's going to complain when he sees first down yardage.
No, never.
Screen pass and that play.
Never argue with completions. They show it somewhere.
1st and 10 from Westminster's 41. Give to Barnes. Taylor in pursuit. Nice job by Taylor, but Barnes does get a couple yards on 1st down as the clock continues to move under 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Both teams have a timeout, so plenty of time left if you're Century. And Barnes down to the 39-yard line.
Here's one of those situations, Pat, where it's, I'm sure Century's running this ball because you run this ball, the clock keeps moving. You want enough time to score potentially, but you don't want to give Westminster too much time. So you want to kind of be in charge of the clock as much as you can, because the last thing you want is, hey, we got a punt, and then give Rory O'Connor and the Owls offense 80 seconds, 75 seconds to potentially go for another drive.
Got a couple scores for you. I'll let you know after this play. And it's a timeout, so perfect timing. Liberty 8, South Carroll 8 late in the second quarter, so almost halftime there at Parker Field, and nothing surprised me there with those two teams. And then FSK at Man Valley, and the Eagles lead that one 14-10. That game is already into the 3rd quarter, so a couple of good all three of our games here in the county tonight. Very close, and I expect nothing less out of the Carroll County Athletic.
Nope.
Liberty South Carroll played twice last season. The Cavaliers beat the Lions in overtime, I believe, during regular season. A big win for Coach Crumley and the Cavaliers. They met in the playoffs, and the Liberty had sort of created a buzzsaw. Coach Crumley described the Lions as a buzzsaw in that playoff game, and the Lions won that one convincingly. In fact, Liberty was the last Carroll County team standing in 2024. The Lions played in the 2A, 1A state quarterfinals. So the backyard ball, as it was called back in the day.
Yep.
Tonight. So far, here's Dexter looking to throw and try to get it to Duncan. Incomplete. He had Duncan on that little sideline route, but covered well there by Amarian Warfield, number 9. That was the same play they tried down here a little bit ago, and it was an interception for Warfield. So now, all of a sudden, you're looking at a 3rd and long. And Koenig's a good kicker, but maybe this a bit out of his range. But we'll see what happens here on 3rd.
Yeah, it looked like a little bit of a miscommunication there. Also, definitely a factor here at McDaniel because the lights are probably a little brighter than some around the county.
Fair.
So, when you're tracking that ball, you're potentially looking into a brighter light source than you typically are.
That's a good point. 3rd and 8, and this one's caught and complete. And getting the first down is Duncan. He had this advantage there, and nice job by Quentin Duncan. Warfield was on him, but it's enough for a first down.
Good play call there by Century. Just go to the well. Your big number 5. off to a great start this year, receiving-wise.
And Koenig, and that stops the clock. The spike with 54 seconds left. It'll be 2nd and 10 after Jake Dexter clocks the ball. So he's spread it out for his 158 passing yards, has Dexter. Of course, Ashburn, the long touchdown. He has 2 catches for 67 yards. Duncan's got 2 for 34, and then Koenig and Jersey Puga each have 1. So it's spread out pretty well there for Dexter, who's 7 for 16 for the 158 yards and the 1 touchdown.
158 yards in a half of football is no small feat.
The 47-yard touchdown and that 41-yarder certainly help. But then again, O'Connor's got a couple of those as well. So both quarterbacks. All right, 2nd down. Clock begins again. 54 seconds. Over the middle, he was trying to get it to Dexter, to Koenig, who wanted a flag and got a flag. From way back near the goal line, the official threw it. And you saw Koenig sort of already motioning that he was being held. We'll see.
A lot of laundry so far, going into the half, coming out of the half. I think the team that's able to kind of sustain more drives without laundry is going to be able to take care of this game.
And it is on Westminster, so Century a chance here to put points on the board late in the first half. It's a perfect scenario here for Coach Ferguson. They got the opening kickoff, so you'd expect Westminster to get it in the 3rd quarter. And if you're Century, you can put some points on the board here. You're feeling good about your first half. And you're all the way down now inside the 15-yard line after that penalty. So 1st and 10 for the 14. So the Knights in great shape.
Great shape, especially starting off on the 5.
3.
The 3.
They started at the 3. Yeah. Now they're out of timeouts though, so we have to remember that. 48 seconds remaining. Dexter getting pressured by Taylor. Dexter throws over the middle. It's caught. There's a flag though back at it's caught in the end zone for a touchdown. There is a flag. I think this is going to come back, and it is. Pressure. I mean, that pressure is really causing some problems for Westminster, or for Century, I should say. Westminster's pressure is causing problems for Century. You saw Isaiah Taylor just pursue the quarterback there, number 7 for Westminster. That's going to back him up to the 24-yard line.
Also unfortunate for Century.
Wipes a touchdown off the board.
Wipes a touchdown, but also takes 8 seconds off, right? And 48 seconds is longer than you think, and 40 seconds is a little bit longer than you think. But,
sure.
It's first down, but you don't want, with no timeouts, you don't want something to kind of tick away from you as you go into this half.
1st and 20 for 24.
Empty looks for the first time.
Yeah, I was going to say, I remember seeing that. Again, pressure by Taylor. Duncan throws, and he's got a man, and it's a touchdown for the Knights. And it's Ashburn again.
Nice job, Jake Dexter.
Ethan Ashburn, 24-yard touchdown. Give him 2 on the night. And with 32 seconds left, it appears as if Century will go into the half with a lead.
Definitely seems like they knew what Dexter wanted to read. Both very similar concepts. High-low, little bit of sprint out, passing high-low the front side with other guys working to Dexter's vision. And ironically, he got a cleaner look on the second time around than the first time.
Ethan Ashburn is a senior. Gotta say, I don't remember calling his name too much last year for Century, but he has tonight 3 catches for 91 yards and a pair of touchdowns, and enough to make Coach Basler on the Westminster side throw his hat down. Ooh, let's see if that goes over the.
Yep.
It's going to go through. That was a fair catch kick there by Koenig, but it counts.
Every once in a while, you take out your sandwich, Pat,
it counts.
And I think Century did that there.
14-10, Century leads. 32 seconds left. I was mentioning Coach Basler, just because he was in my line of sight, he saw that play developing and just took his hat off and tossed it to the turf in disgust. And that's a 97-yard drive for Century. You don't get too many of those in high school, and and converting them is even tougher. And kudos to Century. That was a great drive by the Knights.
Yeah, they really left no doubt about it to kind of start off as hot as they did. 32 seconds left in the clock. They should feel pretty good going into half. Westminster here, definitely want to not be done with anything. I know they're receiving, but I wouldn't rule out trying to go after something. 32 seconds. If you can get this ball anywhere over midfield, I thought Wallace's kick early was strong. He missed it, but and I know he's got leg as we've seen kickoffs.
Sure.
So
and they're obviously they can rip off a chunk play just as good as anybody can, and then you get it to the 30 yard line, you're going to give Wallace a shot. Koenig will squib it. That's maybe not what you wanted to do there. Oh, big hit though from Century. I'm not sure that's what you wanted to do, giving them a little shorter field with one timeout, but we'll see what happens with 27 seconds left.
Yeah, it looked like Westminster was able to handle the ball.
That's true,
quicker than Century expected.
Yes.
The hot grounder up the middle isn't just in baseball, so that was squib kick.
Good play by the shortstop to pick it up.
Exactly.
And you've got a chance to at least get into range. I mean, with 27 seconds and a timeout. Well, we'll see what happens here. 1st and 10 from the 43, so a little bit different field position here for Westminster, and it will be just a handoff. Try to get through that line. Let's see what they do. The clock is going to run. Interesting. Okay, so they're confident with this, and they're going to get the ball to start the third quarter. They don't want to make a mistake at midfield and give Century a chance, and that's going to do it. Final seconds are going to tick off the clock, and Westminster will be trailing at the break. They were trailing last week against Urbana. Came back and won it. Century was behind last week against Marriott Ridge and couldn't overcome the Mustangs of Howard County. So both teams looking for win 2 and both teams looking for win number 1 in the county. Quick first half impression before you and I take a break.
Honestly, I was encouraged to see both lines kind of settle in and get downhill in the run game. Both quarterbacks I've been impressed with. They wear their heart on their sleeve, and they're definitely veteran in they're definitely veteran in their poise.
Sure.
So as I said, just a couple minutes ago, Pat, the team that's able to play with less laundry is going to win this game. Westminster made some plays, but they also had some late flags in the defensive backfield, and that allowed Century a couple of looks that they just weren't able to have without those penalties.
Yeah, we'll see. He makes the least amount of mistakes in the second half, probably has the advantage. It's halftime. Century 14, Westminster 10. Pat Stetzer and Grady Breen with you here on CMSportsNet. We're going to take a quick break, rest the voices, and come back for the second half. So don't go away. We'll be back for the start of the second half in a little bit.
Carroll Indoor Sports Center, celebrating its 30th season. 66,000 square feet of fields and courts. Rain or shine, multiple soccer and lacrosse leagues. Artificial turf fields and courts to rent. Party rooms and snack bar available. Summer camp for the kids. Safe indoor environment for athletes of all ages. Carroll Indoor Sports Center. Your sport, anytime.
There's a lot about Sarah and Tara that's exactly alike. They drink the same coffee, they have the same great job, and they both have a high-quality education. The only difference? Sarah spent her first 2 years at Carroll Community College, getting the same exceptional education, but at less than half the cost. So while Tara uses her paycheck to make student loan payments, Sarah can use hers for other things, like going out for coffee. Get started at carrollcc.edu.
All right, welcome back. CMSportsNet coverage of Carroll County Athletic League football. Week 3, we got a good one here so far. First half, Century 14, Westminster 10. We have a minute and a half or so before the kickoff. I wanted to talk about the team stats so far. Pat Stetzer and Grady Breen with you here. And first downs, it's 10 first downs for Century to 7 for Westminster. Rushing yards, big discrepancy here, just 14 for the Knights, 90 for the Owls. Flip that around in passing yards, 182 for Century, just 86 for Westminster, and both teams have a turnover. Pretty even when you take the comparison of the passing to the rushing. Sure. And you said it before we took our halftime break, just who's going to make the least amount of mistakes in the second half and who can make a big play. Yeah, think of bat snaps first down, holding penalty on a pressure, right, blocking them back. We've seen a lot of really quick flags so far in this first half, Pat, so I'm intrigued to see who is able, because, Lord knows both coaches were preaching about it at halftime, so I'm interested to see who really takes hold of that and says, all right, we got to make sure that the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. Absolutely, yeah. Westminster will receive this kick. It's another short one. It's going to land in space and go out of bounds. So a couple tough kicks here from Will Koenig, although the one in the half didn't really hurt Century because Westminster didn't elect to really try anything on offense. But that one, we'll see. That's not what you wanted if you're Century, and Koenig usually a little more sure-footed, but he kicks that out of bounds, and so the Owls will have a decent field position to start this third. Yeah, I was intrigued when I saw that ball posture coming out of the kickoff because if you're doing something funky, you're going to touch the ball first. So for them to go so vertical with it and really try to put it in the corner was an interesting play coming out of this halftime. So if that ball kind of bounces with some backspin, we could be having some different emotion right now. Sure, no doubt. First half, I was just thinking, so far the biggest play could have been the errant snap that forced Westminster back from the 1 to 18 and turned into a field goal. So that's a big difference. Westminster would have been obviously a 4-point swing, and then Century goes down and scores on a 97-yard drive and scores a touchdown. So huge momentum shift there late in that second quarter, and now the officials pause for a moment to figure out. So the ball, the placement of the ball, right, should be the 35. Yep. Right. And going into film tomorrow morning, I'm sure, if there's coulda, woulda, shoulda categories. And there are. Yeah, as any good program has, that's definitely a coulda and a shoulda. Oh, ball's out. Ball's out, and Century falls on it. Wow. A huge break for the Knights. One of those tough circumstances where that ball flips around with some momentum, Pat, and, it can be chaotic in there. Tough break for the Owls offense. It looked like O'Connor was about to jump off on that, but that D lineman with momentum was just able to slide into home and get on that ball. Cameron Jernand had a great play for Century, number 56, and he celebrated afterward, and for good reason, because Century now is on offense, 1st and 10 from the Westminster 23. Here's Barnes bouncing off the initial tackles, and not much more after that. Good job by Westminster's front. Taylor and Ryan Dunn. Really great stop there from Westminster defense. It might not look like it, but that was very technically sound in terms of plugging up that front side and having the ball wind back and have the safety come downhill. So no gain too. So 2nd and 10. That could have been a big play for Century even on that cutback. So again, not much in the way of rushing yards tonight for the Knights. Dexter rolls, throws, double coverage. Ooh, dangerous pass. Almost intercepted. Pressure there by Ryan Dunn, 56 for Westminster, forcing Dexter to throw across his body there a little bit. Falls incomplete, though. 3rd and long, 3rd and 10 from the
23.
23, correct.
Yeah, Pat, it looks like Century at certain points is just trying to almost max protect, send two guys out in the route. They're big guys, Koenig and Duncan, and kind of go from there and try to work a little bit more of an isolation. But with that, the safeties are able to kind of come off the roof and get involved in there. And, Westminster was unfortunate to not secure that catch, because that would have had them breathe a sigh of relief.
Flag flies with a little bit of a high snap. False start. So Century going the wrong way after the turnover. It hasn't hurt Westminster yet. Back to the 28. So 3rd and 15 or so, right? Yeah, 3rd and 15. Back to the 28. Coach Basler in his days leading up to the game talked to us a little bit. We had him on our coach's corner during our episode of Game On. We know that Will Koenig is a dangerous receiver. We're going to do what we can to not let him beat us, have someone else beat us. Well, tonight, Century's done just that. They've got the ball to other people, and 2 touchdowns for Ashburn tonight for the Knights. But another flag? Well, this time offsides for Westminster. So get the 5 yards back. Well, so far, the laundry has carried itself into the second half.
Maybe even more intensely.
Or not in good moments for either side, for sure. So back to a 3rd and 10 at around the 23. Koenig throws.
A little screen pass to the back. Oh, here we go. Here we
Barnes,
go.
And Barnes, flag flies in. Barnes crosses the goal line for a touchdown for the moment. It's coming back.
Wow.
That's on that should be, let's see where they do here. From the spot, so it may be a first down, and then you go back 10 yards from there. I think I might have that right. The flag is at the 9-yard line. So if it's 10 yards from there, let's see. Oh, so it's 3rd down again. Okay. I thought he had the line to gain, so I thought that may be a first down, but okay, it's 3rd and about 7 after the hole. But boy, that's a big play. Take a touchdown off the board.
All penalties are frustrating, Pat, but a penalty like that down the field, it's not like you're peeling back against their 5-star DN, but it's just one of those things that's just completely pointless and should be absolutely avoidable.
Over the middle, he tried to get the ball to Ashburn again, that time incomplete, and so it's 4th down now. And let's see what Century elects to do. Ball's on the 19. No, ball's on, yes, the 19. They're going to try a field goal. Quick score updates, 4th quarter late, Man Valley 17, FSK 14. And 3rd quarter score, Liberty 16, South Carroll 15. So a couple good ones there still to go along with ours, which is 10-7 or 14-10 for the moment. This appears to be about a 36-yard attempt. Flag flies. Koenig gets his foot under it. It's going to be short. Let's see.
Also a guy short for the Century special teams operation over there.
Now, so it's a procedure penalty, so I think the kick never happened, so they're going to back him up. It appears that Koenig is not quite getting the power into the kick as much as Wallace is, so I think that might force Century to rethink things and try that. Well, maybe I'm wrong. Thought maybe they would try to do a quick kick or something, but you're still in that area, right? You're back to the 24-yard line, 4th and 11, but you run an offensive play. I think I saw Dexter come back out, so.
Yeah, it looked like Koenig as a kicker was getting just too far underneath that ball, too far away from really the fat part of it.
So you're too far to kick the field goal, too close to maybe punt it. Oh, incomplete. So more pressure by Taylor. Isaiah Taylor has been a nuisance tonight for Century's line. That actually receiver was open there momentarily, but the pass was thrown quickly and turnover on down. So the fumble does not hurt the Owls. They get the ball back pretty much where they started from before.
You know, interesting as I kind of look back on this game so far, Pat, it seems like a lot of Century's passing game is really getting isolated on the safety. It seems like Westminster is really trying to bring pressure, and with that, some of the underneath zones are a little bit more open. And that's not to criticize anything. I clearly, when you've got 185 passing yards in a half, it looks good. But it's going to be interesting to see how that might evolve over this next 22 minutes of gameplay.
And there's a nice run on first down. Nick Comfer picks up 9. So right where he left off in the second quarter, Nick Comfer getting it going. Up past 60 yards rushing now, close to 70.
There's a lot of game left there's a lot of time left in this game, Pat. But now we're seeing both teams with really a drive they'd like back.
Yes.
Short field given to them, ironically in the same area, and the only conclusion is that end of the field is cursed.
And here's the nice run by Rory O'Connor. That was a designed run from the quarterback, and he gets up near midfield. I think you're right. There's definitely a curse going on here somewhere. Jake O'Delia is still down. Let's see if he's hopefully just a cramp. He's right at midfield. He's up now. He's hobbling off, so hopefully just a cramp for the young man.
Nice play by O'Connor.
Yep.
After that fumble, you could definitely see him go directly over to his coaching staff and start talking about what he was seeing or what he liked. So for them to be able to get +1 in the running game like that is important, and I think something that we'll definitely see the Owls come back to down the stretch.
Another run, this time Comfer, and this time Century on him. Again, that's Cameron Jernan, 56. That's no gain.
Have an explosive on that first down, and then come around and then end up in the 2nd and 10 on your second or after your second first down is really more of a momentum stopper than one might realize, Pat. Definitely something that the Westminster needs to kind of smooth out, because in general you want more 2nd and shorts than
3rd and longs.
Yeah, for sure.
Incomplete pass, little short, trying to get it to Ryan Lavender. We mentioned his name earlier, it's sophomore. That's incomplete, and so here it is, 3rd and 10 from the 49-yard line. So just a little bit of inconsistency in some of those
just
throws,
enough,
because the receivers are open.
Yes,
Connor's got open receivers to throw to, and he's made the throws. I'm not saying he hasn't, but there's been a few I'm sure he would want back. And you mentioned you've seen his game evolve from camps and things like that, so you know what kind of athlete he is, what kind of he takes a lot of pride in trying to make the most of his time as quarterback. And there's one, and this time he gets to Lavender, and Lavender gets away, and Lavender is into Century territory all the way down near the 30-yard line. So a big play on 3rd and 10, moves the chains and flips the field into Knights territory.
Nice play there by Rory O'Connor. Going back to what you were saying, just in terms of inconsistency, Pat, I think that's why we might see a little bit more quarterback run game, just because you're kind of taking some variables out of this game down the stretch, and still able to have the ball in one of your best players' hands.
So I mentioned he had made the throws. Take that back. He's 3 for 12 before that pass right there. So it's been a little bit of an off night throwing the ball for O'Connor. Here's a run to Comfer, skips past the first line. Gets stood up there by a host of Knights led by Matt Ford, number 52. He's one of the seniors on Century's line both ways. And Century player down right now. Iziogo also in there, 55. And they're going to be leaning on these guys the rest of the way on this line. And athletic trainer Century's Gina Ptolemy out to check on the fallen Knight momentarily. Coach Dave Ferguson also out in the field. Hopefully he's okay. I'll take a second here, though, while we have a moment. And remind everybody again that I know Grady's excited. Big things are coming to Carroll County Sports. It's CMSportsNet, the home for high school game coverage. We are building a new way to experience all the action, every stadium, every gym, live and on demand. Stay tuned for subscription details and get ready to be a part of the network built for you. Don't miss a minute of the action. Your team, your game, and your network, all on CMSportsNet Plus. And I think I saw the Century player walk off on his own power, which is a good thing. And And so we're back again, second inning, about 6 from the 28-yard line. Owls on the move after holding Century, turnover on downs. Go from giving it up on a turnover, the fumble, and you feel like you're in bad shape, down 4 points. And now you're in Knights territory, so a good flip of the script for the Owls.
Yeah, both defenses have really, had some moments where they kind of buckled down, and unfortunately there another bad snap for the Owls.
O'Connor was fortunate to grab it, or else that's back near midfield, and smartly ate that one and took the loss. So big loss, though. That was second down. Now you're looking at third and about 15, 16 yards, maybe more. Yeah, 16 back to the 38. So big play for Century.
Yeah,
the way this game is gone, right? Just back and forth like this.
The momentum stops, where you least expect. But bad snap, a good example of, the bad thing happens typically where the main thing doesn't stay the main thing. You try to do too much, you pick it up too fast, something along those lines.
Incomplete pass. Try to get it to Daniel Adigoke. Hope I said that right. But knocked away by Jake Odelius, who's back after he had come off of the cramp. So it's funny how both teams have had drives sort of get stymied, and you can look back at themselves.
100%.
Penalties,
100%.
bad snap,
yep.
missed coverage. I mean, there's been some, obviously we saw Century hit a 97-yard score, a 97-yard drive, and Westminster has scored on a couple impressive drives too, but there's been some look in the mirror sort of things I'm sure both coaches would definitely going to be working on tomorrow and going forward.
Yeah, it's the reality of football, Pat, is that very rarely are you just going to say, wow, that other team was so much better than us. It's going to say, oh, wow, we should have done this on this, and on this play we missed this opportunity. Great bounce there for Westminster.
Braden Troop on the punt. Yes, absolutely. I agree. I was just watching the fight of that ball, and Century was probably smart not to get it. Hope it goes into the end zone. Instead, it took a right turn toward the cheerleaders, and it went out of bounds inside the 10. So, again, Century pinned as they were in the second quarter here, and now they're doing it again in the third quarter. So we'll see if the Knights can get out of that shadow of the end zone like they did the last time they were faced with such a scenario. But, yes, I mean, there's definitely some things to work on internally, right?
Yep.
Obviously, like you said, the other team is not done so much that you say, well, tip my hat there.
Yes,
Westminster will tip its hat to Central on that last drive, but there were certainly some plays there where I'm sure Coach Basler was disappointed with how that went.
Speaking of stats, Pat, do you have the lineup of who has penalty yards?
I don't have that in front of me right now.
That'll definitely be interesting in the post game. Oh my gosh!
Ball
Century fumble.
Ball on the ground, DeLon Barnes. And it was Franklin Bryan III for Westminster. Johnny on the spot. Kristen Triplett celebrating coming off the sideline. Not sure if he had been one of the ones to force it. I just got to run back out there and play offense. There he goes. The life of a lineman, right? You do something good on defense, you're coming on the side. Oh, wait, crap, I got to get back out there.
Yeah, now you're going to have a violent collision in a different way.
And now this is scoring scenario for sure for Westminster. 1st and 10 from the 10. So a 1st and goal situation, goal to go for the Owls. They hand off to Confer. Gets through the first wave, gets down near the 5. I call it the 6 maybe. Nice run there on 1st down. Oh, less than a minute to go. Man Valley scores a late touchdown, and they're up 4 points, I believe, 24-20.
Wow.
So a great game going on up there in Manchester.
Oh.
Another give. Fans cheered. I thought maybe they thought the ball came out, but not a touchdown yet, so 3rd and short. 3rd down about the 3-yard line. Nice stand there by Century. Can they do it again? We'll see.
Good initial push there by Westminster, but a good job of kind of gang tackling and really stopping momentum from Century. An important down right here.
No doubt. 3rd and goal from about the 2.
Oh my.
And Corral. Oh, let's see.
Probably a face mask.
Yeah, unfortunate. Tozer Iziogo did a great job on the tackle, but I think he got up a little too high. And boy, that goes from a loss or no gain to maybe, well, the officials are talking about it, but it'll be if it's a face mask, it's half the distance, and yeah. So a fresh set of downs, basically from about the 1.5 yard line.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. So it goes from a 4th and maybe 3 or 4 to a 1st and goal from the 1. And it's a give to Comfer, and Nick Comfer is in for the touchdown. 1 yard touchdown run for senior Nick Comfer, number 20. And the Owls regain the lead with 4:18 to go. PAT pending. 16-14 is your score right now. Nice drive and a nice opportunity there given to the Owls.
It hasn't always been pretty this quarter, Pat, or really this game, but this quarter's been kind of like the what ifs, right? But good to see Westminster punch it in and make the most of it. Hats off to Century. They were real close to making that stop, especially on that 3rd down. But it's only going to add to the suspense of this last 16 minutes.
PAT from Wallace is good. Westminster 17. Century 14. Excuse me, getting emotional about this one. 4:18 to go in the 3rd quarter here on CMSportsNet. And again, it's a little bit of a war of attrition here in this game with the penalties and the miscues here, kind of left and right. But there are points on the board. 17-14 lead now for Westminster. Like I said, with 4:18 to go in quarter number 3. See if we can get a check on some scores here again at next break. But boy, that FSK Man Valley game going right down to it. Final minute. Man Valley scored to take that lead. So that kick bounces the other way, and Century has to fall in. So a couple of unfortunate, for Century, unfortunate bounces. Fortunate for Westminster.
And Pat, that was very close to bouncing into
hands of the Owls.
Yeah, a good kickoff like that with some backspin and can do some pretty magical things.
Looks like I'm getting some information from my colleague Brandon Burkhardt back at our CMC studios. Connor Stack looks like he has sealed that game with an interception for Man Valley, so the Mavericks will get what on paper would appear to be an upset win over Francis Scott Key, and the Mavs would give the 1-0 in the county. It might be a couple seconds left, not official yet, but looks like Man Valley will hold on and win that one. And we got a game here, a 3-point game. Westminster leads. Century has the ball now, 1st and 10 from its own 14. Jake Dexter back to throw. Dexter throws over the middle, caught, nice play. Well, they're going to say incomplete. Let's see. No, they're going to say it was a catch. Westminster doesn't want it, but I think it's a catch. Give that one to Quentin Duncan, and enough for a 1st down. A lot of blue jerseys were waving their arms back and forth and signaling it was incomplete pass, but the officials say no, and that moves the chain, so a nice pickup on 1st down.
Yeah, it's really too bad we don't have instant replay, Pat, so we're going to have to, kind of take the Zebra's word for it.
We don't. CMSportsNet might.
That's
so
fair.
Hopefully Brandon is showing that replay. You're right. We have to take the word for it here in the booth. Up to the 26-yard line, so a nice gain on 1st down. And Dexter throwing again. Ooh, dangerous. Look out. Gabe Lee just planted
Just a little too high again on the screen. We saw the called back touchdown from them earlier, Pat, but if they're able to connect on one of these, I think it'll bode well for them. But those type of things of the what ifs really do add up, and it's also something to keep in mind, like with how much both quarterbacks are throwing this ball around, the incompletions are going to kind of slow this game down.
Sure.
And that's what's kind of interesting, because you might see a team get the ball back in a situation later in the game with a lot more clock than we might have expected at other parts of the game.
Barnes was the intended receiver on that last play. Gabe Lee met him with some force. Dexter throwing, pass is caught. That's number 4, Gonzalez, I believe, out there on the far side. For Century it is, yeah, Alex Gonzalez. So that's his first catch, if I'm not mistaken. Up to the 31-yard line, so a little more manageable third down now for Century. Dexter closing in on 200 yards. May have just gotten over 200 yards. Final from Manchester Valley. Man Valley 24, Francis Scott Key 20. So the Mavericks get that county win at home. A nice win for Coach Bernie Kuntz and company. That ball is incomplete. It looked like a tip to the line, perhaps. He was trying to get it to Gonzalez again. He had 2 receivers in the area.
Yeah,
he also had Ashburn.
Seems like a little bit of a miscommunication.
Yeah, I think you're right. And that'll be a punt situation. So Westminster holding Century after just that one first down. And still time left in this third quarter, 2:41, but momentum shifting here a little bit to the Owls side. Owls the home team in this scenario. Solid punt. First man missed. Howard can't get around the next, but a good job by Howard to make the first man miss and gets the ball up past the 45-yard line after a solid punt.
Great tackle in space there by Century, Pat.
From Henson.
Really no small feat getting a guy down in space like that. You've got no leverage. You're in the middle of the field. You're directly in the middle of the logo to really put it into terms for the viewer. But a great job to stop a potential really nice punt return. Excuse me.
First and 10 for Westminster at the 46-yard line. Here's a handoff. And a flag late comes in, as I think that was Comfer. Pretty much met right at the line of scrimmage with force by Century. So these guys are still hitting hard here. Liberty has a 24-15 lead early fourth quarter over South Carroll. So the Lions trying to get a win on the road. That's penalty going to be against Westminster. So again, flags coming out.
Yeah, honestly, kind of surprised that where that penalty was, Pat. In terms of in stark terms, it didn't seem well blocked enough for it to be a holding penalty. It was hard for me to see where the old lineman still had hands on the D-line.
The one non-county game of the night, Winters Mill and Centennial, and the Falcons go to 3-0. Winters Mill's 39, Centennial 0. Another big day for the Falcons, and they're 3-0 for the second time in 3 seasons. Congratulations to Matt Miller and the Falcons, and they'll have their first county game next week. So the first 3, and we're counting the rest of the way for Winters Mill. O'Connor to throw wide open near midfield. And so all that penalty yards got back, and then some.
A little curl wheel combo to the field there, put it on his receiver's face mask.
Never mind.
He spoke too soon.
It's coming back. That was Lavender who made the catch. It doesn't matter. It's coming back. Holding against the Owls. Boy. We have
back-to-back. It would be really tough for Westminster if their head coach was a notoriously well-known O-lineman to come out of the county. If they were in that situation, he would probably be pretty frustrated.
Are you reading something into this. It's 1st and 30. You think Coach Bowser likes a 1st and 30 with his days spent at offensive line at West Virginia after he played at Francis Scott Key and spent some time coaching here at McDaniel before he got to Westminster. I'm just saying, I don't think he really is that pleased with 1st and 30 from the 26.
We can't assume too much.
Can't assume. O'Connor fakes the handoff. Ooh,
oh my
man,
gosh.
He had a lot of room. He had Xavier Howard over the middle around the 43-yard line. That could have been a first down.
Yeah, and honestly, potentially more than that.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of described Westminster's pass game tonight. Unfortunately, Pat, good drop backs, some good pass pro, but just enough off the mark.
I just saw 15 Odelius and 42 Joey Tuminello sort of talking it over at about the 40-couple-yard line. You have him, I have him, because that was definitely a blown coverage. I mean, there was no one around Xavier Howard close to midfield, so you like his chances.
Yes.
He came into this game averaging about 30 yards a catch, so he can definitely make some plays here. 2nd and 30. O'Connor back to throw. That one's caught by Lavender. Another flag. Another flag back at about the 21-yard line. And it's a hold.
Huh. Interesting. This doesn't bode well. And mind you, as we mentioned earlier, like really slows this game down because this is a lot of clock stoppages. And are we going to notice it at the end of the third? No. But we are going to notice it when somebody in this game gets the ball back with 4.5 instead of 3.5.
Second, and we'll call it 40. O'Connor, not mine. He got a couple yards out of that. And the flag comes in from the sideline. That might now.
Hear me
out.
out.
That's a face mask.
That might be auto first down.
I mean, I'm not going to predict. We're going to wait and see.
Yeah.
If that's a hole, we might as well just
pack it up
and go home. Initial looks like Westminster was. Oh boy! This might be a horse collar. Wowee! It's a personal. Yep. So it's a first down. Automatic first down. It was second in about 40 couple yards.
Yeah.
And now it's a 1st and 10. Oh, you know what? It's not an automatic first down. My mistake. But it does get the ball up past the 30. I was thinking about college and pros. My mistake. Not automatic, but wow, this has been some drive.
Yeah.
Grady.
To think of it only a second down right now is quite a feat.
I think Coach Bowser's saying, don't run a play. We're going to let this go to the end of the third quarter and talk this over.
Take the quarter. Maybe some choice words over the headset. That's what headsets are good for.
That's true. End of the third quarter here at Gill Stadium. Westminster 17, Century 14. And we got 12 minutes left. It's going to be fun, but it's been a lot of penalties here tonight between both sides, between Century and Westminster. It's got to be over 100 yards combined by now.
Easily.
15-yarders.
I would assume that each team probably has, I would say Century probably has 75, 80 yards in penalties, and Westminster's definitely over 100 at this point. Maybe just in holds.
Just an email I got from Coach Matt Miller that called the score in, and we'll call it that. Luke Phillips, 3 touchdowns. Jake Angelina, 2 touchdowns. Austin Denning had 1. And the Falcons defense had 4 interceptions of Centennial. So another shutout. 39-0 is the win for Winters Mill. And we have Man Valley, who already has a county win tonight. Officially the first county win of the season since their game ended before the others did. Man Valley 24, FSK 20. You had Liberty leading South Carroll 24-15 in their game at Parker Field. And this one, which was supposed to be at Ruby Field, but we're at Gill Stadium tonight at McDaniel College. 17-14 is your score with 12 minutes to go. And we still have Westminster in a second and about 25 down at around the 30-yard line. So a long way to go here for the Owls, but a whole quarter to get there. O'Connor back to throw. Coming back to get it is Troop, and a nice job, Braden Troop, up near midfield.
Way to keep his eyes downfield there for Rory O'Connor. You know, game hasn't been all the way his way, right?
Sure.
In just in terms of, you know, just being off on a couple different throws here and there, Pat. But again, great patience to keep his eyes downfield. That was an important completion to have a much more third and manageable rather than what he was facing.
Westminster was staring at a 2nd and 40. It's now 3rd and 6, right at midfield. O'Connor's got some pressure. He's got room to run. He tucks it. He will get the first down. Odelius pushes him out, but they do move the chains. So smart from O'Connor, didn't force it, and picked up a first down.
Nice play to kind of recognize how that side was vacated.
No more 2nd and 40.
No more 2nd and 40. And you know, you're in 1st and 10. You're in opponent territory. 11:37 left in this game.
1st and 10 from Century's 42.
Seems like Century safeties are playing a little deeper than they were. It's an interesting adjustment as we go into this 4th quarter.
Still going. Might have been Comfer there. He initially hit at the right line of scrimmage. Colin Johnson, number 7, sort of forced him to go one way, but Comfer stayed up and picked up 7 yards on first down.
Yeah, kind of getting even thrown forward by the defense, just with that much contact.
Connor, good.
No, 2nd and 3.
Yeah. Connor up to 87 yards on 18 carries. And, or Comfer. That's what I said, Connor. Nick Comfer. 18 carries, 87 yards, thanks to my other sports colleague, Bob Bluebaugh, for doing some stats tonight for us. O'Connor will keep it up the middle, and tackled short of the line, I believe.
Nice tackle by Jacob Dexter.
I think that might be Carter.
Oh, excuse
me. It's okay. Carter Wilson, number 6, with the tackle there. And it is 3rd and short. The 6 and the 8 are tough when the jersey gets bunched up like that. Yeah, so. O'Connor might have detected a slight limp when he got up there after that last one. He's been taking some hits on those keepers. Anyway, 3rd and short from the 33. O'Connor in the shotgun. He's got Comfer to his right. 2 receivers spread out to the sideline. He keeps it again. He's got the first down and more. Rory O'Connor still going. Enough time to adjust his helmet and get Westminster into a 1st and goal situation. So some missed tackles there, and the Owls are in shape.
Great job by Rory O'Connor for, you know, once again kind of taking a hit, having the balance and just the strength to stay up. And as I said earlier, Pat, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how Westminster's offensive staff comes back to the quarterback run game down the stretch, because they're, you know, able to add another hat into the box that they aren't able to when they're in their read game.
1st and goal from the 7 now is Westminster, and this potential big stand here for Century if they can hold them. Here's a give, Comfer, and he's got room to run. And Nick Comfer bowls his way into the end zone. 7-yard touchdown, Westminster. And a big hug and embrace between Chris Basler and Rory O'Connor, his senior quarterback, and that was a nice job by the veteran to keep that drive going. They have a 2nd and 40.
2nd and 40.
Don't let it phase them.
You know, the pressure was a little released with that horse collar tackle, Pat, but at the same point, you're still, even after that, facing a 2nd and 25. You know, a couple big completions, you know, a couple big runs, and all of a sudden, it's a 24-14 game in a 24-14 situation in a game that's been really back and forth. This is the first not back and forth, you know, time we've had.
Correct, yeah. The PAT from Wallace is good. 9.5, 9:33 left. And like Grady said, Westminster 24, Century 14. The Owls have indeed shifted that momentum now. Now it's going to be a big test for Century to try to stay in this ball game. O'Connor, 124 yards through the air, 60 yards on the ground. So a nice night for the senior. He'd want the completions and attempts to be better, just 5 for 15, but he does have a touchdown pass. And again, he's part of a ground game right now with over 160 yards on the ground. So a nice balance there with 124 yards passing and 160 yards rushing.
Now, as Century comes out on offense here, Pat, they're going to want to make sure they know as a team, as a staff, as individual players that they're not going to score 10 points in one play. They're not going to score 10 points in a drive. But they got to make sure they stay positive on first down. They got to make sure they're facing second and at least medium because, to try to bite off more than they can chew all at once isn't going to be a winning formula down 10.
And they'll start this drive on the 20 after another touchback from Trevor Wallace. 9:33 left. There is time.
Yep.
There's time. Just takes one play to flip it.
As we've said right through this second half, both quarterbacks are going to be throwing the ball enough that the time is especially going to go slow. There's going to be pauses with incompletions. The ball has definitely been hitting the turf. So that 9:33 might tick away a little slower than some games that we've seen, especially in this county.
Yeah, and especially down 10, you're going to figure that Century's going to throw. There's pressure again by Taylor.
Great
this
call.
This time, a nice call, a screen pass, and that's enough for a first down. So a nice job, Dexter, to number 5, Quentin Duncan. That'll move the chains. There haven't been too many sacks tonight either, so both quarterbacks done a good job to stay away from the pressure.
Yeah, and when there really have been, it's been off extraneous circumstances of bad snaps and that kind of stuff. But good job by Century going back to one of their go-to guys, right? We've been talking about Duncan and Koenig. Duncan there with a big catch. Well-timed. They knew they were going to get pressure, and a screen is a great antidote to that.
Gives you a little bit of confidence there, too. So 1st and 10 now from the 31. 11-yard play on that last one. Dexter back to pass. Sideline pass caught. Koenig up past the 40. So 2 nice throws and 2 nice catches for Century. And the Knights have something going here, at least to start this drive.
Yeah, already close to midfield, just in a couple plays. Still 8:42.
Sure.
I'm encouraged to see how they're, working, the sidelines. That way we can stop the clock. Not saying they need to, but you're in that much more control of the situation.
Up to the 43 is this drive for Century. Dexter back to throw again. That one dangerous, but caught by Koenig up past midfield, and I think officially into Westminster territory to the 49. So if you're Coach Ferguson and the staff, you're looking at the clock and you're trying to eyeball when you'd want to at least try to get some points. And in a dream scenario, the next play, of course, right? But 4 minutes, I mean, if you can stay in that 4-minute range, you think you're in still pretty good shape with all 3 of your timeouts.
Yes, yeah, and 3 timeouts is tremendous. If they can score on this side of, I would say, the 5-minute mark, then you're starting to think of like when the breakdown is. But 4 completions so far. And
this momentarily does stop the clock, so first downs momentarily do, and that's another catch by Duncan. So this is a nice drive going here for Century. As the ball's down,
No, I'm surprised we haven't seen a little bit more variety in Westminster's coverages. It seems like they've been a little bit more drop back, keeping things in front of them. I'm surprised they haven't kind of bracketed a couple more things, rotated some safeties, given Dexter a little bit more to look at, because it seems like a lot of Century's pass game has just go off some isolation stuff.
3 receivers on the left side. The rollout was designed. Dexter was going to do it, and incomplete. Dexter did do it, and then couldn't find a receiver, so incomplete pass. Stops the clock. 2nd and 10, 7:12 remaining in the 4th quarter. Same formation as the last play for Century's offense, 3 receivers to the left. Up the middle, pressure, and I think that's going to be a hold. Yeah, it's going to be a hold on Century. Good job by Westminster. That was Gabe Lee busting through the middle, the linebacker, and I think it's going to cost the Knights.
Tough break there for Century. Great call by Westminster's defense.
You dial up the pressure and you see if they can respond to it.
The real beauty of that, Pat, was just how well timed the backer was to the snap, really forcing that holding penalty just because he hit the A gap with such force.
That's Gabe Lee, and he's only a junior. He had a sophomore season last year with 100-some tackles and led the county in tackles. Now he was in the middle of a really good defense, and he is still, but really good player. Gabe Lee, number 5 for Westminster. Victory formation for Liberty, and it looks like it'll be a 24-15 win for the Lions on the road against their rivals South Carroll. So Liberty gets its first county win. Up top.
Oh, wow.
It's caught. I looked like Lavender went for the pick, and instead it's a long catch for Ethan Ashburn. And wow, big play, just what Century needed. After a holding penalty, had 2nd and 20, and here come the Knights.
Yeah, again, Pat, tough circumstance. Westminster's DB goes up to really play the ball instead of the man, and because of that, the ball is able to just drop into Ashburn's hands, and then before you know it, they're in a situation where it's 1st and 10 in the red zone.
It's at the 16. Double cover was that last play, and Ashburn still got it. There's one again, caught this time in the flat, and that's Ashburn again, but this clock will run. Nice tackle there by Jace Thomas, I believe. Yep, number 14. But a couple yards there on 1st down, a gain of about 5. So nice play.
Nice play by Dexter there. Those are those little things that keep the chains moving, and really, people much smarter than myself have said it time and time again that good quarterbacking is in the big moments being very boring. And yeah, we see that great completion to move the chains in the red zone, but little completions like that on 1st down in the flat are why Dexter's standing out so much in this game.
And guess what? They just did what you wanted.
Ta-da.
Touchdown, Dylan Barnes. That's a 12-yard touchdown run on this side of the 5-minute mark. 5:39 to go. Don't go anywhere. Century has cut it to 4. I'm not good at math. 4. Westminster 24, Century 21 or 20 with a PAT pending. It's going to be 21 if Koenig can hit the extra point. That's exactly what Century needed to do. Plenty of time now. You have all 3 of your timeouts, and you're only down by a score. Now the defense has to do its job on the next drive. 100%. We'll see what happens here, but spot down, kick is up, looks solid.
Good.
It's good. So 5:39 remaining. Westminster 24, Century 21. That was a really good drive there by Century. Face adversity on the hold, didn't let it get to him. Again, got a good leader, got a good strong leadership core led by Dexter, and a nice run there by Dylan Barnes to get into the end zone after the long passing catch by Ashburn.
Yeah, and as we were saying, that started with that great catch and run by Duncan.
Yes.
Get the ball to him in the middle of the field. He's not just a jump ball guy in the corner. Get the ball in the middle of the field, get up the sideline, get through the kind of the middle behind blockers in front of him. Now it's going to be interesting here on this kickoff.
Yeah, that's
true. Do you
true.
play squib, right? How do you play this? That's the kind of the intricate part of special teams.
Yeah, these kicks haven't been Koenig's strength tonight. His extra points have been good, but can't imagine you'll want to design the squib. Not saying that sometimes the ball comes funky off the tee, but anyway, Koenig will kick from the 30. A much better kick from the senior. Down inside the 15.
Put it in a corner.
This is Howard, though, and chased down by Odelius. Nice job by Jake Odelius. It was Xavier Howard on the run. So we've been calling a lot of the same names lately. Some of the stars are starting to shine on both sides of the ball, or both teams, I should say, Century and Westminster. A 3-point game with 5.5 to go. The Owls did their best to overcome some of their own adversity with that 2nd and 40 on the last time they had the ball, and they did so. Rory O'Connor led the way. This last time for Century, Jake Dexter helped them get down the field with those nice early passes and then the give to Barnes for the touchdown. So here we go, 5:32 to go, 1st and 10 from the 26-yard line. Westminster has the ball. Hand off to Comfer. Going around the right side, he's got room. Gets a nice block and picks up a 1st down. Nice run by Nick Comfer on 1st down. Still a ton of time for this game. So,
and runs like that, Pat, are why it was so important for Century to score on the kind of front half of that 5-minute mark, because this clock can wind down a little bit. Great 1st down call by Passler and his Westminster staff, but Century doesn't have to be in panic mode, use any of their timeouts, because they could still very well be getting this ball back with 2:20.
Nick Comfer over 100 yards rushing. He's out for a moment. This is Barrett Tozer. Same run basically on the right side. They found something there that works. Pickup of about 9, so 2 huge runs to start this drive for the Owls. Grady just mentioned it. 4.5 left. Still a lot of time, but Century needs the ball back to score, and the Owls would love nothing more than to put together about a 4-minute drive here.
Yes, absolutely.
Thereabouts, and put this thing in the bed.
Yeah, there's a lot of ills in this game, Pat, that are absolved if you're able to put this away with a good, stout, run it down their throats performance.
Another run. Here's Tozer again. Dragged down by 11, Rossi. Owls fans wanted a horse collar, but I think that was just jersey.
Yeah.
And enough to get the 1st down, though, I believe. And that's into Century territory, so under 4 to play, 3:56. And when we spot this ball, the clock will move, and it does. So Westminster, nice drive here to start after the kick by Koenig and the return by Xavier Howard. Already about 30 or so yards gained here on that drive. 1st and 10 from the Century 48. Comfer. Wow. Flag comes flying in from the side, the Century side, and this might come back, but a nice run there by Comfer. 6 or 7 yards, but hold up. We hadn't had one in a while. It's time to throw another flag.
Yeah, it was ironically our least penalized stretch of this game that we've kind of enjoyed the most. But
which side was cursed?
I hate to say it, Pat, but the way we're headed.
Indeed. So 1st and 20. Clock is running. 3:06:05 and moving fast for Century, not fast enough for Westminster at the ball at the 42-yard line now.
It might be a situation where they take a timeout soon just to kind of slow the bleeding. Or
nice job by Century. That was Howard on a bit of a jet sweep, and they did a great job to stretch that play out. And let's see, that's a timeout. Yep, timeout Century. So you're under 3 now, so you're going to want to start to use these timeouts if you can, but that's going to be still 2nd and very long for the Owls, and that holding penalty could be big.
But yeah, very big, Pat. Century did a great job in that last snap, clogging up the box, bringing the safeties down into the fit, and just getting to the ball. Ideally, the only thing that would have made that snap better is be able to get the ball carrier out of bounds, so you're not have to use your timeout. But 2nd and 20 situation, and it not going to be 4-down territory, so they're now kind of feeling better, but you're able to call a lot more of your call sheet as a defensive coordinator here.
So that was basically no gain there for power on that run. So Century down to 2 timeouts, 2 remaining. Westminster has all 3. Clock was stopped at the timeout. 2:46 to go. Owls probably don't need to look to throw it too much. Another run, couple yards back. And Coach Dave Ferguson will call his second timeout. As Comfort gets it up past the 45, call it the 46. So it'll be a third and about 16. And to this point, the biggest play of the game, perhaps.
Yeah,
2:40 to go.
absolutely.
Third and 16. You figure Century's got in good shape to get it back. Westminster, will they throw it? Will they just try to run it and make Century burn a timeout? Remains to be seen, but right now, Century's got 1 left. Westminster has all 3. And if you're in Century's huddle right now, what do you think Coach Ferguson's trying to tell the guys other than keep your heads, no dumb penalties, things like that?
Little things like got to make sure we get off blocks. Westminster's been running a ton of gap scheme, pulling guards, trying to get the ball downhill. I wouldn't be surprised if they go to that again, because it's really been their bread and butter this year as well as most years. And then, making sure nothing slips by you. You don't want to be that one situation where, they slip somebody by a safety, expecting run, and then all of a sudden you've got a busted play. So looks like another loaded box, like a pure man cover 0 type look. So Century's definitely built to stop the run.
Oh, what a play! Over the middle, Rory O'Connor. They did throw it, and a backbreaker, Xavier Howard, right up the seam.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Wow. and as we said earlier, Pat, Rory O'Connor hasn't played the entire game, as I know is his standard. I know he wants more of himself.
The best pass he's thrown all night.
But that's being a senior quarterback right there, because no one remembers a first quarter when you finish a game like that.
That had zip. It went right where it needed to be for Howard. Howard beat everybody, split the defensive backs, turned on the Jets about the 35-yard line, and nobody touched him. So this will be back to a 10-point lead, provided Wallace hits this extra point, which he does. 2:30 left, but now 31-21 is your score. Westminster with a 10-point lead over Century, and that's about it. I mean,
yeah,
the best pass he's thrown, he saved the best for last. That's 3rd and 16, and yeah, you can run it there, let him burn a timeout. That's confidence in your coaching staff to the senior. Go make a play, and he did.
Go make a play. They were able to attack the defender's leverage, really get inside. Kind of a disaster scenario for Century in a lot of different ways. They've got a bunch of eyes in the backfield, really built to kind of slow the run game. And as I was mentioning right before the play, you don't want to be the one guy who's peeking in the backfield a little bit too long. And you end up with an explosive like that. So hats off to Westminster.
It was basically, we got to play, and let's see if Century can stop it. Century says, we're going to try to do our best here to see if we can stop them on third and 16. I thought maybe for a second it looked like he had stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, I was surprised he didn't.
Ashburn tiptoeing the sideline there, but a good job by Westminster to cover him up. Ashburn trying to make a play. 2:25 left and a timeout, so not quite over yet, but looking a little more bleak for the Century Knights, as their offense will begin 1st and 10 from the 23-yard line.
And it's really unfortunate, Pat, because we do all that math, we do all those calculations, and Century's getting the ball even after getting scored on, still with 2:25 left, right? And that's that unfortunate part. You're 3rd and 16. Hey, we're taking timeouts here. This is the plan.
Oh!
Way to go.
Yeah, how about that? Ashburn. He's having a nice night, Ethan Ashburn. Well, that gets Century into the Westminster side in a one play. But go ahead, you finish your thought.
No, it's just now for them to be able to kind of settle in and be like, okay, we've got a little bit of time here in a 2-possession game. Unfortunately, only, I believe, with one timeout, so you got to spike it here.
And I think he just did. second down at the 40. So not quite dead yet are the Century Knights with 2:10 to go, and you hit another one of those and you're in the end zone, and then it's a potential 3-point game again.
A bit more uphill than they'd like, that's for sure, especially having just had a 3-point game. But I'm come away very impressed with Jake Dexter.
Koenig, wrong route. Dexter was going for the end zone. Koenig broke it off and sort of hooked back to the sideline. So miscommunication there. Now it's third down, third and long. And as soon as Koenig turned left and the ball was already over his head, we kind of saw that miscommunication kind of take place in real time there. But unfortunate for Century, although it stops the clock with 2:04 to go, and it's 3rd and 10 from the 40-yard line. 2-down territory, obviously, here with too far for even a field goal try. You could obviously 10 points down. A field goal could be in play if you were closer, but they got to get this first down first. Westminster doesn't bring as much pressure. Ooh, there's a nice attempt to Koenig, falls incomplete, and now it's 4th down. So
just a little bit too far inside.
Let's see. I think Century's going to go ahead and just call it now and say we need to get this first down. Let's talk about it during a timeout. So barring a penalty, this could be Century's last play on offense. Although, yeah, no timeouts now. So Westminster could be right close to victory formation if they get the ball back here. But still 1:59 left, and the Century still has the ball. So still some time. See if Jake Dexter can work some magic. So here we go, 4th and 10 from the 40. Dexter back. Dexter throwing. Ashburn. Almost.
Just off the fingertips.
So did Jace Thomas. But a turnover on downs for Dexter and the Knights on offense. Nice play. Nice play on both sides. Thomas with good defense, and Ashburn did all he could to try to get it.
Yeah, I like the kind of matchup of keeping Ashburn going after that safety, but just a little bit too high. Ashburn just wasn't able to come down with it.
So turnover on downs gives the Owls the ball at their own 40. 1:52 to go. Century cannot stop the clock. This time I don't think Westminster will attempt to make a pass.
Ideally.
I didn't think they would last time when they did, so going to run a play. It's Comfer, and wow, Nick Comfer, huge run. Helmet comes off from Century's side, but that's a first down that flips the field, and that could wrap it up. Nick Comfer, well over 100 yards rushing today. O'Connor's got 60. And now, Rory, after that last pass, 178 yards passing and the 2 touchdowns. So a nice night for those 2 seniors. And now with the clock running and 90 seconds to go, still got to run a play here.
Pat, as we talked in the pre-show and also in the first quarter, we talked about Westminster bringing 17 seniors back, and 17 starters, excuse me. And this is the kind of game that you can ride through with that level of maturity back. Was it always easy? No. Was it always pretty? No. But you have guys that even after the bad stuff are going to come over and say, okay, this is what we need to do next. It's not like I was in the huddle, but you could see just from body language how some of those Westminster starters kind of like settled in the middle of that third quarter to really make sure that they steered the ship.
So the false start actually on Westminster. Oh, another bobbled snap. No, don't worry. Nick Comfer's got it, and he gets almost all of it back. He may have gotten a first down. Jeez, that's like the third time that's happened tonight on both sides.
Yeah.
Ball went through O'Connor's hands into Comfort's hands. Comfort said, all right, I'll take it. Oh, it's a first down, and that should do it now. Victory formation for Westminster.
O'Connor with a knee.
Yeah, he took a knee there, victory formation, so it'll be second down, and I think they don't have to run. They may have to run one more, right? Okay, that might be the last play. Westminster going to get its first county win. They're going to move to 2-1. The Knights will fall to 1-2 and 0-1 in the county, and there was one more kneel down for good measure. Westminster wins 31-21. It will be your final score as the final 10 seconds tick off the clock. Both teams already lined up for handshakes, and impressed with the fortitude and the leadership skills that Rory O'Connor showed today, and a lot of other guys too. But when he needed it that last drive, he gave it to him.
And Pat, not for nothing. I'm still very much impressed with Century.
Yeah.
I think a couple balls bounce a couple different ways. Both teams are going to have their coulda, woulda, shoulda list in the morning, like any film session, right? But I'm interested to see how Century matches up with the rest of the county this year, because they've got a quarterback who's got a lot of football under his belt. They've got some physicality, and they've got guys that they can go to on the perimeter. And there's a lot of points in this game that I was expecting Century to be happy at the end of this game rather than Westminster.
3-point game with a few minutes to go in the fourth quarter. So final score, Westminster 31, Century 21. Rory O'Connor throws for 178 yards and 2 touchdowns. Nick Comfer runs for 144 yards and 2 more touchdowns. That's the difference in the ball game. Again, a great game, too, on Century side. Jake Dexter threw for over 300 yards, 316 yards, and 2 scores. Couldn't get a ground game going too much tonight for Century, but they did get the passing game going. Ethan Ashburn with 6 catches for 166 yards and 2 touchdowns through the air for Century. So big plays all over the field. Rory O'Connor, Westminster made one more big play down the stretch, and that got the Owls to win.
That's what it comes down to, just making one more play. 3rd and long, 2nd and long. He rose to the occasion, but as I just said, I'm encouraged to see what Century does the rest of the way, especially as they've kind of grown as a program.
Grady, was fun, my man.
Hey,
always good to see you.
Always a pleasure. Yeah. Appreciate you, Pat.
We'll do it again.
Thanks, sir.
For sure. For Grady Breen and Pat Stetzer, we're going to sign off here from Kenneth R. Gill Stadium on the campus of McDaniel College. Thanks for joining us tonight for CMSportsNet's coverage of Carroll County Athletic League football. Final score one more time, Westminster 31, Century 21. Have a good weekend. We'll see you next time.